In 2013, Electronic Arts and Disney struck a deal to make Star Wars games together. This deal led to Star Wars Battlefront in 2015, Star Wars Battlefront 2 coming here in late 2017, and it will lead to many more games in the future. As DICE continues on with the Battlefront series, Respawn Entertainment, BioWare, and Visceral Games will be making their own Star Wars games in the future. Truthfully though, I think there are many gamers out there that are hopeful to get a Star Wars role-playing game similar to Knights of the Old Republic, which at least to me is the best Star Wars game produced to this day. That's why today I'm going to be shining some light on Visceral Games and their upcoming Star Wars game, because a lot of details have come about, including some massive insider details that came recently that points to this being a very unique story-driven experience. While 2017 is certainly the year for DICE's Battlefront 2, 2018 looks to be the year for this mysterious third-person action-adventure Star Wars game that is reportedly called Project Ragtag, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. The team behind this project is Visceral Games, which is creatively led by Amy Hennig, who is best known for being the mastermind behind the Uncharted series. The voice actor Nolan North, who starred as Nathan Drake, the protagonist of the Uncharted series, gave some very interesting comments about this Star Wars game back in June of 2015, saying, quote-unquote, "If you're a big fan of Amy Hennig and her style of story, she's gone to EA and is going to reboot a brand new Star Wars franchise in the style of Uncharted. I happen to know a lot about it, and it's going to be awesome." Hearing that from Nolan North makes me believe that it wouldn't be too surprising to see him pop up in a major role within the story, and claiming that the game will fit the style of Uncharted is also very eye-catching. Nolan would also go on to add that this is not Star Wars 1313, which has been since cancelled, but comments made by Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy in December of 2015 revealed that they had been looking at the material for both 1313 and Underworld, and that those projects may still be developed. I bring this up as many people believe that Visceral Games could be using a lot of the assets and materials from this cancelled game and using it for their new franchise. Star Wars 1313 originally was announced in 2012, and it was pretty much cancelled when LucasArts shut down, which was extremely unfortunate because this game looked and sounded amazing. The official details that we know is that it was supposed to have the players take on the role of an unidentified bounty hunter, later revealed to be Boba Fett, who navigates Coruscant's underworld metropolis of level 1313. The game was also supposed to be a mature title aiming to tell a story with adult themes that would be very different than most of the more child-centric offerings that Star Wars games have offered. But the main point from this is, while most of us believe we'll never be able to see 1313, there's still a good chance we may be able to see some of the elements and assets that were supposed to be in that game. Now, back in 2013, rumors began starting to float around saying that Visceral Games may be making an open-world Star Wars game because EA had job listings that were seeking applicants with a passion for the Star Wars franchise to work on an open-world game. Also around that time, Visceral and EA had job listings that pointed to a role-playing experience, as they said, "Bring your system game design skills and savvy and your love of Star Wars to Visceral Games, embracing and contributing to the project vision in areas of hero control mechanics, AI behaviors, combat weapons, class design, skills and progression, enemy design, story, and boss encounters." From that listing, it certainly sounds like this could be an RPG, but since then, the co-writer of this game has denied these rumors, but he has also added that they have not revealed anything yet. So there's certainly a chance that we'll see role-playing elements in this game, and this also may not be exactly a traditional open-world game. If I had to guess, it could be more of a semi-open-world title, but I will add that we will not know for sure until any gameplay is actually shown, and as I've learned with many developers, never take their word for what they say. Finally, to E3 2016, Visceral Games gave us our first small glimpse at this mysterious game. What's seen is more than likely our protagonist walking out of Mos Eisley's cantina on Tatooine. What's interesting about this scene is how identical it is to when Luke and Obi-Wan struck a deal with Han Solo in the original movie. Other than that, we also see Star Destroyers, TIE Fighters, Empire flags, and Rebel graffiti, which points to this probably taking place during the Galactic Civil War. As many have pointed out, Tatooine is an Outer Rim planet and has always lacked resources, which is why up until the events of A New Hope, attention was never really brought on this desolate planet. So there's definitely a chance we could see this game taking place before or after the events of A New Hope. Now we're going to dive into some massive insider details that comes from MakingStarWars.net, which has been pretty reliable with everything Star Wars through the years. I will add that these are spoilery details, so if you do not wish to hear anything about the plot of this game, this is the best time to leave. Okay, Since you're still here, the Star Wars game being made by Visceral Games is apparently being called Project Ragtag, and will have us taking the role of a man named Dodger, who is a survivor of Alderaan. It's said that Dodger left the planet when he was drafted into the Imperial service to begin life on the run. His plight was made worse by the destruction of Alderaan. Dodger found himself on a list of survivors that the Empire was actively hunting in the aftermath. As the story opens, he is trying to get a big job so he can buy himself off that list. That big job is said to involve working for Jabba the Hutt. So it does seem that Dodger and his connection with Alderaan will play a major role within the story. But continuing on, because the Empire has tightened its grip on the Outer Rim territories, a mid-level crime boss from the Rang clan sees an opportunity to cozy up to the Empire. This can be a major advantage to the Rang, as the Rang's mining operations recently discovered a violaceous gas that has formed where Alderaan used to be. The purple substance can be weaponized, so the Rang clan begins to test it and sets up a mining facility with the mining ships in the Alderaan graveyard. The crime boss and the Tarkin Initiative have a valuable weapon on their hands. The weapon is obscene that it can be sprayed on an environment and all living creatures in that area are petrified. What's left are calcified remains, like something out of the ruins of Pompeii. So the advantage to the weapon is that everything else around it is left perfectly intact. It means that the Empire can take anywhere it wants, remove the inhabitants, and not harm valuables in locations that they want for strategic reasons. So this definitely is a very interesting story taking place after Grand Moff Tarkin obliterates Alderaan, but this new weapon uses the remains of Alderaan in a truly cynical way. Dodger will be faced directly with this issue, and the claims made by MakingStarWars.net also adds that Dodger will witness the weapon used on someone he has grown to call family. It will put Dodger in a place where he has to decide to take a stand or keep running. The ghost of Alderaan still haunts him and continues to take from him. Dodger blames the Rebel Alliance for putting his home planet in harm's way, and now he finds himself on their side more than ever. It's said that only Dodger and his Ragtag team can put a stop to this, but as the game takes place apparently between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, the destruction of the Death Star is said to be a catalyst in the story that changes up the criminal underworld, turning common criminals into heroes. Other than just the story details, it has been reported that the main gameplay mechanic is a grapple Dodger can perform with a whip. One move is described as ensnaring enemies with the left hand using the whip or lasso, and finishing them off with a blaster in his right hand. There are different variations of weapons according to the site, with some coming later as DLC. This Star Wars game definitely seems very dark, and it sounds like it will be very mature. But from everything that has been reported, I am excited to see what Amy Hennig has put together, and it will be fun to see an original story like this come alive. From the looks of it, this title seems to not involve any of the past characters, so we probably won't see any of them pop up, which I think would be a good thing, although a small cameo would not hurt. Anyway guys, what do you think about Project Ragtag, and do you think it could be an open world or role-playing game? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and make sure to smack that like button if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value. Also consider subscribing to stay up to date on huge upcoming games like this, and I'll see you later.